There's a video that was out, someone reposted it that was in a Feldy, and everyone's going, wow! And it's about how the sacrum moves. And basically, yes, if you're in this FI where you have to, actually this FI is more the back, but it's saying your sacrum should be able to only move, that's it, down and up, which is nutrium and co-nutrium or whatever it was. And I'm like, we'd all be disabled if our sacrums moved like that.
The Feldy video saying that?
Well, no, I said that.
Oh.
All the Feldy people were like, wow, thanks for sharing, this is so cool. And I'm going, but I realize the reason I'm different because I see movement. How you're sitting on the chair, how you're sitting in the chair, I can just instantly have you as a skeletal system sitting in the chair. I know how your foot's up, raised up, how your pelvis is tilted, how your sacrum's tilted, all that going into it, even though you're stagnant. And so yes, I have an extreme form of visualization that most people don't have. So that was going to be the first part. So when people see me touch, I think people only see actually where I'm touching. That my fingers are somehow touching your back, let's say, or your sacrum. I'm going to stick it on the sacrum. But when I'm touching, so when I'm touching, what touch to me is movement. So if I touch this and it falls down, yes, gravity's coming into play, I get that. If I make this unstable, that sucker's gonna go. It's an inanimate object, it's just gonna fall. But what people don't realize is that when you touch, it's movement. And that movement's going through an object to relate to gravity to make the whole action happen. But if I put this object here, and it's not going to be so stable just because it's on my phone, but if it was on the floor, I'm doing it for video. If it was on the floor, it would just stand there. It would be completely stable. But the second I touch it, in this case, it's unstable. But when I touch a human being, I look at it the opposite, where I take someone's instability and start making it stable. So when I'm taking my movement patterns, and when I touch someone and I realize their movement patterns, and it's really like convincing them, like I would convince you to come to class. Oh, just try it, this. That's all I'm saying is to their body going, I really like your participation. Oh, let's try this, let's try that. There's no force involved, and that's when their brain starts digesting it and goes, that was interesting. Oh, I never did that before. So another way too of showing the movement, so if I'm here, and I don't know how my baton days are. This sucker weighs about a couple of pounds. So I'll do it this way. Yeah, you're appreciating the show, huh? So, but me dropping it was a pure example. When my movement can't complete the action, then the gravity again wins. And that's what special needs are. When you have a movement pattern that can't complete the action, gravity wins. As human beings, we oppose gravity. That's when we're healthy. When we can come up and oppose it. When we can't oppose gravity, gravity starts to win. We're either special needs or we're dying. You know what I mean? Depending on where we are in our life skills. But when gravity starts to win as you get older, that's not a good sign. And people see the obvious, they'll see it like this. So there's obvious changes in the mass, and you can go into physics about this, but when the overall mass of a system changes, the force of gravity becomes more severe. So whether you're this way or whatever, when you start changing your mass, your relationship to gravity changes. So, and then the same thing with the baby. When a baby can't, it's that opposition, that change to gravity, that it can come into itself, and that's where development starts. You just start seeing this little shift in a baby, and that's a healthy nervous system to me versus more of a static or jerky. I'm not saying they're never going to do that way if they're upset or whatever. You're going to see these patterns. And that's why it's hard to judge a baby or any humans, because most people are looking for absolute. You're doing this 80% of the time. That's a success or that's a failure. Whereas, you're going to go in and out of, you're going to see her, fuss, cry, just for the heck of it. You're going to see her like this. If I took a picture, someone might say, oh, what's wrong with that kid? But they're not seeing the whole thing of her coming in and out of it, and so therefore she's okay. But they can't with Harley because she's on so many videos now. So another way I wanted to show with that how movement goes through a system. So this towel only reflects my movements. So even with me shaking it, then you'll see the waves of the movement of the shake through the towel. Or if I decide to twist the towel, I'm twisting. My twist is coming through me. Then the towel is reflecting me. So the way I touch someone is a reflection on me and how I approach that person's system. So if I'm constantly going like this to somebody's system, that's what I'm going to get. But if I start going, let's just see and I always say it's the pulling of the taffy, but someone was arguing with me, they just don't get the taffy pull. But there's a way that you can touch without, like where it's going to go into a rip or a force or something like this, and I guess this is just a towel. But if I stop touching the towel, the towel's no longer acting to me and he's gone. Whereas a human, since when you're working with them, they have that same kind of relationship to gravity, in and out of it, opposing and going for, as I do, and then they keep developing that movement. So seeing that video, and that's where I'm going to play with someone's butt today. The reason I said I'd be totally disabled if that's the way my sacrum moved. So even if I come like this and my sacrum's only more allowed to move up or down, the fact that there's no rotation allowed in that system, how am I going to get up? Even I can really kind of force it here, but I really, to keep my sacrum that immobile in a sense, even though they're seeing this great big movement. And this is where I'm like, I have to get a skeletal system. So the pelvis slides. So if I'm doing this whole movement here is what's crucial to the sacrum. It's wagging your tail. You know what I mean? And it's obvious to an animal because the tail's there for balance as your dog goes, down and around and whatever. But so if I'm looking for the chair, I'm counterbalancing immediately wherever my tush is looking for it. Now if I can only do this to sit down, you know what I mean, and not move it side to side, now my feet, everything, I have so much rigidity in my system. I'm old versus, see, even one leg, quote, being longer than the other by a millimeter, the sacrum's going to have to shift to counter that. And it could be not my legs, it could be it could be because I've got one foot up here, again, and if I'm sitting down this way. So, but the sacrum really should roll and rotate and slide and really move at 360 degrees. So, but most movement videos just show the skeletal system going like this, or it's just very, and I get it. But the problem is you got people doing these videos that don't understand movement. And everyone just goes, oh, wow. And I'm like, no. So that was my pet peeve. But is that any questions? Does that understand more, though, with touch and how I'm touching? Do you get it?
She does. You do.
Should we try playing with your butt first?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Say what now?